Steve from ProGo Tones, and we just released our mini rectifier pickup specific capture preset packs. And today I'll be demonstrating through the Tonex software. As always, you get 3 folders. You get the DIs, the studio folder, and the live folder, which is a collection of presets that have been level matched and EQ'd for you to just throw on your pedal, take to the gig, plug direct into the PA, and turn up to gig volume. And that's what it should sound like in the front of house speakers with a full band live. That being said, I'm going to play through some of these, but I think it's important just to discuss the amp a little bit first. It's obviously based off of the Mesa rectifiers, basically the same thing. The rectifiers, as well as a lot of the early Mesas, are, let's just say, heavily influenced by the Fender Bassman, as is the JTM 45, which is Marshall's first amp, was basically a clone of a Bassman. And so you have these 3 big companies, Fender, Marshall, and Mesa, all with the same basic nuts and bolts of the Fender Bassman. This takes it a step farther. It's got more gain stages. But the reason why this is also so versatile is because the tone stack comes before many of the gain stages. So when you're turning up and down your bass and your treble and this and that, that's the signal that's being pumped into those subsequent gain stages, which completely changes the way the amp sounds and feels. So I was able to get everything from Fender cleans out of this and Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think I have some in the Strat pack that say SRV, to Marshall style crunches, to the heavy stuff that's indicative of a rectifier. And it does still do what a rectifier does, especially the high gain settings. The lows are a little loose. It is still a rectifier. We're going to start off with the clean. So we have 2 cabinets. Tyler's got a PRS 4x12 cabinet with V30s in it at the Barn Studio. And there's also a Marshall with V30s and greenbacks. We just have an array of microphones. So the way we mic these up is that the Marshall has a bit more high mids and downshifted highs. The PRS, it's the opposite. The highs are a little higher and it's a little bit more scooped in the mids and the upper mids. Now, if we take a listen to the clean, it's a basic clean. And that's the Marshall, and here's the PRS. They're identical, but like I always say, a clean only reveals itself under the scrutiny of gain. So when you gain this up, or if you put a pedal in front of it, you're gonna quickly see the differences between these 2 cabs. But I kept this simple. It's very, very clean. I do sessions and I do wedding bands and function bands, so I need all those classic sounds. It's just a basic clean, and I can get that almost straight to board clean stuff from the 80s, put some modulation on that. That Dan Huff sort of thing. So that's the clean. Moving on to Edge of Breakup. Little bit of dirt on it. I don't want to even call it dirt. It's still clean. And live, I would probably use this as my bass clean tone. It takes pedals really well, but it's still clean. Let's see if it does that John Petrucci intro. So yeah, it's still clean. Moving on to Crunch One. Just a little bit more. Now here, that was the Marshall, here's the PRS. And you could start to hear with more gain. A little more mids, little more fizz on top and less mids on the PRS. There's Crunch One, Crunch Two. I might use Crunch One for classic rock. It's good for the jangly stuff. Nothing fancy. Crunch 2 is just slightly more aggressive. And you don't need that much gain to sound cool. A lot of people think you need a lot of gain because this riff is cool. You need a lot of gain. You don't. Here's Crunch 3. If you listen to that old Zeppelin stuff, That's probably even more like Crunch Two. They didn't use a lot of gain. Here's the PRS cabinet. And now it becomes really apparent. Fizzier highs, scooped mids, but you might want that. You might want that for some reason. And maybe you want to switch guitars and it's got more mids. It's just there for you. Crunch 4. Right, so it does all that. And what I really like about this amp is that it's dirty, but I could still hear each note. And it cleans up so well. And that's really something to be said about Tonex as well. It just acts like the real amp. Then we have some different chugs. My first chug. Then I got silly. I'm a Metallica fan. I have two types of what I call Metallichug. That's one, and this one is, if you want to drop this into a backing track of anything on the Black Album, it sounds ridiculous on its own. If I were to play through that, I would just be like, no. But if you listen to the guitars on that album, they cranked the highs, they scooped the mids, and you have to make room for the bass. I think it was Master of Puppets where the low end of the guitars sat lower than the bass. But on the Black Album, the bass actually takes its rightful spot in the low end. And I mean, it's chunky, it's got some lows there, but it's really fizzy. And that's the sound of the Black Album. Just as an aside, I know they used a C2 Plus or a C Plus and a modded Marshall 800. And apparently James Hetfield really did not like the rectifiers. But hey, I got that sound out of this somehow. So from start to finish, because each subsequent gain stage has to sound organic, clean, edge, Crunch 1, Crunch 2, Crunch 3, Crunch 4, Chug One, Metallichug 1, Metallichug 2. They all sound like natural progressions of gain staging to me. In the studio pack, I did not put a dedicated low gain lead in it, but if you just take the edge and gain it up, that gets into that territory. So that would make a really great low gain lead. Just take the edge, crank the gain on a little bit. I have a mid gain lead. I always like to test these with Soul Shine. So yeah, it sounds good. Mid gain lead, I'm sure you can do. You might want to crank the gain on that a little bit, but mid gain lead. And then I have big lead. What I like about this is that you can get that molten neck pickup thing. But it also, it has clarity on the bridge pickup still. That'll do some Van Halen. So yeah, so you can cover a lot of ground with this pack. The ProGo Tones Mini Rectifier Pickup Specific Capture Pack, progotones.com. Go there now, pick it up, love it, play it.